Well, hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Up Those Daring Defenders, episode 22, and we will be covering Defenders issue 11, the 12th and final part of the Avengers Defenders War. Let me give you some basics from the wiki fandom databasey thing, and then I'll give you my take on this comic book. Defenders Volume 1, number 11. Released September 18th, 1973. Cover date December 1973. The title of this issue is A Dark and Stormy Night, and that is Night with a K, as in the Black Knight. Defenders roll call: Doc Strange, Submariner, Hulk, Silver Surfer, Valkyrie, Hawkeye, and Black Knight. I will be considering him a defender for this issue because it has been about the Avengers do appear, as is Nick Fury at the beginning, because this is the end of the battle with Dormammu, and the Avengers that appear are Captain America, Thor, Odinson, Iron Man, Black Panther, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Swordsman, and Mantis. This wonderful little gem, and I do mean wonderful little gem, I do like it. There's some odd things in it, but overall it's a fun comic book. It's written by Steve Englehart, penciler Sal Buscema, inker Frank Boll, colorist George Russo, letterist Tom Ortkowski, and Jasper Saladino, editor Roy Thomas. And the synopsis for this is, hold on, let me get to it. With Dormammu and Loki defeated, the Defenders leave the Avengers and head back to Dr. Sanctum Sanctorum. Strange attempts to once again contact the Black Knight in Limbo, but unable to find him. Instead, the Defenders are suddenly transported back to the time of the Crusades. There they find the Black Knight. They help him rescue the captured King Richard and fight his evil brother, Prince John, and Modred. They stop an army of giant gnomes, but Prince John is able to get the evil eye during the battle. Before he can use it, Prester John appears and seizes it from him. He defeats the villains and sends the Defenders back to their own time. The Black Knight decides to stay in the past, and Hawkeye, Namor, the Hulk, and Silver Surfer all decide to leave the Defenders for their own adventures. As I said before, this is chapter 12 of the Avengers Defenders War. It is mostly a Defender story, and I'm fine with that because it ties up all the Black Knight stuff that started way back at the beginning of this run. And I've always been a Black Knight fan, and I like this kind of arc. This is, my history with him is, and it's referenced, they give a note to it, is this story, and then going back and buying old issues of Avengers when I was in high school and getting the ones, I think it's in the 40s, the two-part Masters of Evil, or it's Lethal Legion. It's an Ultron story where he takes over the mantle from his uncle, and then the Kang Grandmaster storyline in the 80 issues in the 80s, not 1980s, but 80s numbering, where he is given membership. And then, oh God, I remember when I got my copy of Avengers was 100, because it was Barry Windsor Smith. I knew him from Conan. And I had always wanted to see that issue, and I did, it was 50 issues ago. I mean, it was like in the 150s, and I'd heard about it, and I had the index and everything, and I wanted to see it, and I got it. It was gorgeous. And the Black Knight was in that, and then he's in this. And then he's a big part of the Roger Stern era of Avengers and the Barbara Harris. I mean, he's in the book for like a decade in the 90s, for almost most of the 90s, and it's great. So I like having him here, and it's got Hawkeye in it. This is the biggest lineup of Defenders I think we ever do see, except for maybe the tryout day. But I like it. I mean, it's a good, solid story by Englehart. It ties up the Avengers Defenders War in like 2 pages. It's a great moment where Wanda tells Nick Fury, "Don't thank me. I didn't do this for you. I did it for being as an Avenger." Because she's really she feels the prejudice of being a mutant great deal in this. It kind of fades with Wanda over the years, but I had forgotten how much in these days it is. And and she's on the outs with her brother because he's prejudiced against the Vision. So she's got a lot of prejudice coming her way, and it was nice to see that moment there. And Doc Strange erases everybody's memory except for the Avengers about the existence of the Defenders and what happened. And we have a whole movie where that's not a good idea. but back here it was just something you did. But I like, you see, what I like about this is Doc Strange goes looking for Black Knight in Limbo, and the whole time, and it's only like half a page, but you see, Hawkeye and Val and Submariner talking about do they want to stick around, and Submariner and Hulk, are in on the conversation, and then they're all transported back to the Middle East. All right, I want to discuss. I kind of want to talk about the portrayal of Muslims, especially specifically Muslims in the age of the Crusades. It is. They're made into cartoon bad guys, which is a little less racist. It could have been worse. They're not called infidel. It's not this. They're just cartoon henchmen. And it's not. And there's a word. The Doc Strange uses a word that Mohammedans, and I don't know if that's actually a good word or a bad word. I don't think we would say that nowadays. I don't think it is any more. I don't think it's as problematic as other portrayals of non-Caucasian people are in comics. I just think they're treated as cartoon sidekicks, henchmen. And they're three gnomes, got to have a super monster to fight. And it's a good battle. I mean, there's a lot going on. They sneak in their robes as priests. And it's a great line by one of the soldiers guarding the priests. May Allah preserve us from priests. And I thought that was funny because, yes, please. I have some issues with organized religion, any religion. And I have issues, with their leadership. But that's a personal thing. But there's a fight breaks out with two guys that owe each other money from a gambling debt. And one of them sees the Hulk's feet are green and he stands up. And then, of course, because no one's noticed that this one priest is ginormous. And they're all wearing robes and no one can see their costumes under it. It's very comic silly. Black Knight gets his blade back. Valkyrie, when fighting the gnomes, gets knocked in the wall. And the Black Knight picks up his blade and then gets knocked out. And everybody's captured except for the big three, who then go and fight Modred, Prince John, and Chandu, who will reappear again in, let me see this, I got it right here, my fingertips. It is Avengers Annual 22 from 1993, 20 years later. He appears in a story, and the lineup of the Avengers in there is Black Knight, Black Widow, Crystal, Maximoff, Hercules, Cersei, and Vision. So it's a really good year. It's a Bob Harris. Is it a Bob? No, Glenn Herdling, who I've never heard of, wrote it. Mike Gustavich drew it. Oh, wow, from the Elementals. That's cool. Oh, no, Justice Machine. That's cool. But we're not talking about that. Maybe one day I'll do an Avengers read-through with y'all. We're going to talk about how the read-throughs are going to change starting next week. But they bat the big three attack, Chandu, and then Prester John, who's last seen in FF54. That's a great comic, folks. Find it, read it. It's really fun. And I think Prester John's got a great design. It's a great Kirby design. And you know what? They save everybody. The villains are defeated. The evil eye is back in the rightful hands of Prester John. The bad guys are vanquished. The defenders head home. Black Knight stays. And then Silver Surfer, Hulk, Hawkeye, and Namor are leaving Valkyrie and Doctor Strange by themselves. Overall, that is a fun comic book. It's gorgeous. The Sal Buscema, again. Sal Buscema, love it. It's a beautiful art. Frank Pohl does wonderful inks. I've really kind of appreciated it. It's not something I'm used to. We're about to see a really different Sal because he's going to get a new inker in 2 issues. That is just going to be crazy, good, lots of fun. I think overall, I raved about it as we're going through it, but maybe I should have done this as a whole. And that's going to go to, we'll talk about how I'm going to be recording these podcasts in the future. That I think Avengers Defender War really works. It's 12 issues, but it really works. You get your bang for your buck. I just recorded an episode which will drop tomorrow with Jim, and we kind of talk about, we're talking Justice League versus Legion, and we both have some issues with it. And for me, I'll speak for myself and let you'll listen to Jim speak for himself. That a lot of comics don't have narration, context. It's all show no tell. When I think it needs to be an equal both. I think this works. I'm a fan of Englehart's writing. He's one of my favorites. So I think it works. I think the middle part where it's just all these little adventures, you get to know the characters. So if you're not reading Defenders or you're not reading Avengers and you're reading this book, you get to know the characters from the other books. I would assume at this point there were more Avenger fans and Defender fans, but, there are those people who didn't like, there had to have been people who, I don't like the Avengers because I don't like the characters in it, but I like the Defenders because those are the characters I like, because their characters were never really until much later in the Avengers. I mean, the Hulk comes back several times, Doc Strange joins, and Namor joins. Namor joins a couple teams, but this was a good team up. It was a good event, even though that's not the word they used back there. Crossover. It was a really good crossover. It told a great story. It had good creators. One writer who's writing both books. I think that really, really helps. And it being Englehart. So it's a lot of, it ended up fun. You get everything's wrapped up in a bow. And starting in the next issue, we're just going to have a one and done adventure with Zemo, XEMU villain, and it's just Valkyrie, Doc Strange, and the Hulk. And then we'll start the story. We'll have this next week. We'll also do a couple more issues. So we're going to do 3 issues, I think. What we're going to do is cover the Zemo story and the Squadron Senator story and the first appearance in Defenders of Nighthawk. I'm going to do all 3 of those issues together. Because there aren't really arcs, I may just do 2 if it's 2 one-and-dones or it's not part of a giant arc. But if it's something that I think I need to do 3, like next one is do 3, I'm going to do 3 issues at once and talk to you, kind of go over what happens in the 3 of them, do the little synopsis, give you a quick summary of what I thought of each one, and then when I get to the end, talk about what I thought of the 3 as a whole. That will speed up us going through comics, I hope, be more engaging for you. With Legion, I'm going to do 2 because they don't have anything bigger than a 2-parter. And when I get to the 2-parters, if I've got to kind of catch up, if there's an odd 1 issue here or there, I will do them, put them together with a 2-parter. Because during the Shooter era, there was a lot of 2-issue stories. But that's for what's coming up. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you're reading along, if not, if you've never read it, check it out. It was a fun story. It's a lot of cool characters that I don't really see as much in comics nowadays as well. I'm enjoying the Avengers run now. I'm looking to see what happens afterwards. They haven't announced. Have they announced the new creative team after Aaron leaves? I'm really enjoying Defenders Beyond. Al Ewing and Javier Rodriguez get it. It's so gorgeous. It's amazing. And it's true to the weird era of Defenders. So, well, that's it. This should have gone up yesterday, but I recorded with Jim instead, and that will go up tomorrow, where we talk about Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes. Today is my birthday, so in about an hour, a little over an hour, me and my wife are going to go to the movies, and we're going to see Black Adam, and I will do a review of that for next Saturday. So, again, folks, check us out on Twitter. JSA4E, that is JSA, the number 4, the letter E. I've guested a couple times on A World on Fire, an All-Star Squadron podcast covering the Freedom Fighters, and I did some the 70s All-Star comics, and hopefully we'll be doing some more of those, so check them out. Please check out my Doctor Who podcast, Gallifrey's Most Wanted. Me, Victoria, and Jeff just got back together to discuss Power of the Doctor. We had a lot of fun. Check it out. Also, check out Jeff. If you want to hear two people who know their Doctor Who and enjoy it, want to talk about Jody's finale, check out Hamster with a Blunt Penknife, Joe Ford and Jeff, who is my partner in Runcible Report, talk about it. I haven't listened to it, but I am sure it is amazing. So, folks, again, be smart, be safe. Please be kind to one another, especially on the social media, folks. That can be a dark place, and Things are changing. And always read some comics.